I'm not a great political prognosticator, but it was obvious to me, and almost everyone else, honestly, that there was no way the Elon-Trump bromance was going to last. Back in January, I said that Elon Musk would be the first casualty of Donald Trump's inner circle. It just seemed sort of obvious to me that those two massive egos could not coexist for very long, and I thought Musk would be gone by June. Well, it's June 2025, and not only is Musk out, as he left Doge and his temporary government employee status amicably with Trump in May, but now he's in an all-out war with Trump over his big, beautiful bill. So is this a legitimate war for the Republican Party or just a drug-induced X rant by a foolish conspiracy theorist who's upset about being forced out of Trump's orbit? Oh, who just happens to be the richest man in the world, too. This is not the kind of political spat I would normally talk a lot about. The lifespan of this kind of political story is sometimes mere hours, but this spat involves the richest man in the world who spent over $250 million to help Trump get elected last year, and I think it's fair to say he and RFK Jr. made at least as big an impact on Trump's win as anyone not named Joe Biden. And that guy is going head-to-head, or tweet to truth, I don't know how we discuss this, with the guy that somehow has the largest and most fragile ego in the history of politics. In a matter of hours Thursday, it went from Musk calling out lawmakers for passing what might be Trump's only legislative accomplishment, the big, beautiful bill, which I still can't believe it's actually called that. It went from that to saying Trump is implicated in the Epstein files, floating the idea of starting a new political party, and endorsing the idea of impeaching Trump in favor of J.D. Vance being the president. And obviously, we got the accusations from Trump that we expect anytime a former ally disagrees with him on anything, that he must have Trump derangement syndrome.
People leave my administration and they love us. And then at some point they miss it so badly. And some of them embrace it and some of them actually become hostile. I don't know what it is. It's sort of Trump derangement syndrome, I guess they call it. But
so why will this matter? It may not, honestly. I think it's worth considering the motivations and possibilities, though, for both actors here. So first, what do you think motivated Musk to spend $250 million plus getting Trump elected? Do you think it had nothing to do with thinking that that money was an investment, that his close ties to an openly corrupt president would turn into further billions of dollars for his personal fortune? Perhaps he could become the first trillionaire? Every business that Musk has is directly in relation with the federal government. Tesla already benefited from EV mandates and tax credits. SpaceX has tens of billions in contracts with the government. And there's obvious motivation for Trump to get further contracts with things like Starlink, his satellite internet service, and the federal government. So to be fair to Musk, I think there's evidence it's not entirely motivated by enriching himself, because why would you spend $20 million in a Wisconsin Supreme Court election? You know, that's not exactly something where you can see dollar and cents returning on that investment. So I think sometimes we're a little too quick to put everyone in these black and white boxes and refusing to talk about people with any sort of nuance at all. And most are happy to label Musk as 100% a genius or 100% an idiot or an evil Bond villain or a lunatic without ever really holding the possibility that he could be all of those things at the same time. Because humans are complicated, even when they're incredibly rich, right? You can't possibly say that Elon Musk is exclusively an idiot without giving me a good answer to how an idiot could manage to run three of the most wildly successful technology companies in America. Companies that grab rockets out of the air or have done more to broadband rural access to the internet than any government infrastructure project ever has, or do the unthinkable and make an electric car that people actually wanted to purchase. But you also can't claim he's all genius either. Most of what he posts or reposts on X is false, and I'm inclined to think he believes a lot of it. After all, he and Doge somehow managed to miscount the zeros and report $8 billion in savings at an agency with a total budget of $9 billion. Seems unlikely. When it was really an $8 million contract that they canceled. That's a 1,000x accounting mistake. That's not exactly genius stuff, right? It doesn't inspire a lot of confidence in the work that Doge did. But Musk is not wrong about the big, beautiful bill. It is a budgetary abomination. Despite Musk's lofty goal of cutting $2 trillion from the annual federal budget, that was what he said before Donald Trump got elected, which was revised by half after the election to $1 trillion in savings he claimed he could get annually, Doge has only shown receipts for $16 billion in cuts. although they claim they've saved $160 billion. So even if we take them at their word, at the high end of that, the blue state SALT deductions, the state and local tax deduction increase in Trump's big, beautiful bill, that will reduce federal tax revenues by $981 billion over the next 10 years. That's more than 6 times the high-end estimates of claims of cuts and savings from Doge. So Musk is right about this bill adding trillions of dollars to the national debt. Maybe his motivations for attacking the bill are sincerely about fiscal responsibility. But more cynically, I think it's fair to point out that maybe they're about the EV mandates and tax credits disappearing. Defenders of Musk, including himself, point to TV interviews in the past where he said he's happy for the government to get rid of such mandates and subsidies. But Tesla did spend hundreds of thousands of dollars lobbying Congress in the first quarter of 2025, so just a few months ago, to keep those. So I'm going to believe the money trail, not the soundbite. But it moved way beyond the bill on Thursday. Trump fired back, of course, threats of ripping up all government contracts with Musk companies. The first question worth asking here is, will either one of them actually follow through with these actions? Or is this just political professional wrestling of sorts? Trump's got the taco nickname lately. Trump always chickens out. I don't think it's completely unfair nickname. I also don't think it's necessarily a wise nickname. I think we actually want him to chicken out on some of these stupid things he does. Is it just some red meat for the political media and its most addicted consumers to gobble up, distracting us from the losses both men are dealing with currently? It's not a wild theory, really. Trump isn't exactly winning right now. His trade policies have the economy worried, and he can't manage to stop any of the global conflicts that he claimed were so easily solvable before he got elected. And Musk companies have had a series of embarrassing setbacks as of late, too. So is this just a distraction they'll both move on from or reconcile in a matter of days? I think that's the most likely scenario. I don't think that's some sort of organized thing that they both planned, but Trump must realize that Musk won't be as easy to discard and write off as having Trump derangement syndrome as others who he's turned against. After all, Mike Pence, didn't own a social media platform, one that's been credibly accused of throttling accounts critical of Musk. That's a hell of a megaphone, right? Especially compared to Truth Social, which is only useful for seeing what Trump is posting and absolutely nothing else. Like, when's the last time you saw a truth post in any news coverage that wasn't written by Donald Trump? Now, Musk may be the only person in America who could possibly start a successful third party. It's anyone's guess who the new right's post-liberal populist might choose as their strong leader, since they don't really have any political ideals or policies, and MAGA is just a cult of personality. But I'd give a massive edge to Trump in this, because he's proven over and over again to not only be able to never lose support from MAGA, but to make gains within the Republican Party at every turn. 70% of Republicans now believe that the 2020 election was stolen, and fewer than half of Republicans have a negative view of January 6th. So if January 6th and trying to steal an election gained Trump's support within the Republican Party, does Musk really believe he can sway elected Republicans to be more afraid of his bullying than Trump's? I think that's absolutely impossible without the support of the populists in that new right. And like I said, I don't know which way they'll go, but I assume they will go for Trump. If Musk really wanted to impeach and remove Trump, he would have to get 4 Republicans in the House and 20 in the Senate to do so. I would say he has a better chance of getting to Mars this year than getting that many Republicans to abandon Trump. But here's the thing. Who's to say that Musk or Trump can be expected to act rationally? A New York Times article claims Mr. Musk has been using ketamine often, sometimes daily, and mixing it with other drugs, according to people familiar with his consumption. Republicans love to label all liberal press fake news, but does this look like a sober person to you?
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy. Chainsaw! It's your gold. So, I think you have a right to see it.
You want to take a tour?
Yeah, I think we should have do a tour. And then the president last night was like, I think he's in favor of it. That would be cool. And then it should be like a live tour. Like, you can see what's going on, open the door, what's behind it.
What if just theoretically a drug-addled egomaniac thought he could take that metaphorical chainsaw to Trump and the Republican Party? Could he have success? Maybe, but I think whether he tries and fails or just quietly stops attacking Trump, it will be absolutely indisputable that no person or scandal will ever knock Trump off the cult-like throne that he sits on within the Republican Party. He will have exclusive influence over Republicans until he dies. And Occam's razor says that's the most likely scenario.